He slapped me so hard, my vision went white, and I was standing in my wedding dress when it happened. My name is Diane Foster, and before I tell you what happened next, I need you to understand something. My father, Gerald Foster, built half the shipping ports on the East Coast. He shook hands with senators. He smiled for magazine covers. And 30 seconds before he struck me across the face in front 200 guests, he had whispered in my ear that I was about to ruin everything he built. I am a major in the United States Army Corps of Engineers. I have inspected bridges that carry 60,000 cars a day. I have signed my name to documents that decide whether buildings stand or fall. And 3 weeks before my wedding, I signed a rejection. My father's newest development, a luxury marina complex called Siren Point, sat on unstable landfill. I would not approve it. I told him the ground would not hold. He told me I was making a mistake I would regret for the rest of my life. I did not know he meant it as a threat until the moment his hand connected with my cheek, right there at the altar, in front of everyone I loved. My husband, Michael Bennett, a former assistant U.S. attorney, did not raise his voice. He simply stepped between us, looked my father dead in the eye, and said 4 words that I will never forget. "You just signed your own death warrant." My father laughed. He actually laughed, right up until an older woman stepped out of the crowd. A woman my father had spent months trying to impress. She was the one holding the financing that his entire empire depended on, and she had just watched everything. If this story is already pulling you in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because what happens over the next few weeks is going to make you furious, and I want you here for all of it. Her name was Margaret Sinclair, chair of the Atlantic Growth Fund, and she happened to be Michael's godmother. My father never bothered to learn who his own son-in-law's family was. That mistake would cost him everything. Margaret did not raise her voice either. She simply asked my father if he wanted federal security called to remove him from the building. His face went the color of ash. Without her money, Siren Point was a hole in the ground with a $200 million hole in the budget. I did not cry. I tasted blood at the corner of my mouth and I swallowed it, because crying was exactly what he wanted. My mother-in-law signaled the band to keep playing, so the moment would not become a spectacle. Michael walked me out of the hall, and behind that closed door, my older sister Natalie was already waiting for me, gripping a stack of papers so tightly her knuckles had gone white. She was not there to check on my face. She was there to protect our father. 3 weeks earlier, a junior analyst at Foster Development had accidentally emailed me the final approval file for Siren Point. He meant to send it to accounting. Instead, it landed in my inbox at 11:30 at night. I opened it expecting nothing. What I found turned my blood to ice. The soil reports I had rejected were gone, replaced with fabricated data. And on the final page sat a federal engineering seal, and beside it, my own signature. Forged. Flawless. My father had not just ignored my rejection, he had manufactured a fake one, using my rank and my name as a weapon against the very oath I swore to protect. That is not a permit violation. That is a federal felony. Natalie knew. She had known for weeks and said nothing, because saying something meant losing the black card, the penthouse, the entire gilded cage our father built for her. "Are you protecting this family?" I asked her quietly. "Or are you protecting your allowance?" She had no answer, because there wasn't one. That night, back at the reception, my father cornered us in the hallway, cane in hand, threatening to have Michael disbarred and me court-martialed. He said he had friends in Washington who could end my career with one phone call. He wanted me terrified. He forgot that fear only works on people who still need something from you. I stopped needing anything from him the moment I read that forged document. Margaret cut him off before he finished his threat. Effective Monday morning, she froze every dollar tied to Siren Point. My father's empire, built on decades of intimidation, lost 40% of its value by lunch on Monday. He did not go quietly. 2 days later, an anonymous story hit the local papers claiming I had suffered a breakdown from military stress and attacked my own father out of paranoia. He was trying to poison my credibility before federal investigators came asking questions. I had spent 18 months overseas earning the right to wear my uniform, and he turned my service into a smear campaign. I did not respond to the article. I responded to the Army Inspector General instead, with the original soil reports, the forged seal, and the digital trail proving exactly which office computer had created it. Within days, federal agents raided Foster Development, stock in freefall, offshore accounts frozen overnight. And that is when my father did what cornered men always do. He turned on the weakest target left standing. He fired Natalie without warning, cut off her apartment lease, and had her escorted out of the building like a stranger. He thought stripping away her comfort would break her. It woke her up instead. She showed up at my door that night in the rain, soaked through, holding a hard drive. Inside was everything. Every email, every order to falsify the documents, every payment made to plant that tabloid story. He wanted a loyal daughter, Natalie told me. He got one who finally remembers how to bite back. I let her inside. That single decision would end our father's empire for good. 6 weeks later, federal indictments dropped. Racketeering charges, forgery charges, obstruction charges. The board voted unanimously to remove him as chief executive. He stood in that boardroom, in the same room where he once ruled through fear, and watched 12 men who used to fear him refuse to even look at him. He tried one final move. A small package arrived at my house containing my old service medal and a handwritten note asking me to come home. It was manipulation dressed up as sentiment, an attempt to guilt me into silence, using the one memory where I actually believed he was proud of me. I remembered that night clearly now, the night he pinned that medal on my uniform. Later, I overheard him on the phone bragging to a business partner about how having a decorated officer in the family would make pushing permits through so much easier. Even that pride had a price tag attached. I did not cry over the note. I folded it once and I put it away, because forgiveness does not mean reopening a door that nearly destroyed me. 8 months later, I watched the news cover the groundbreaking of the new, properly engineered Siren Point, this time built on solid ground, this time safe for the families living nearby. Margaret stood at the podium instead of my father. I did not attend. I did not need the applause of strangers. My father is currently awaiting federal sentencing. Natalie runs her own small firm now, out of a modest office, driving a used car, and for the first time in her life, she says she sleeps peacefully. I am still Major Diane Foster. I still wear the uniform. I still believe that blood does not entitle anyone to your loyalty if they never earned your respect. If you have ever had to walk away from someone who shared your blood but never deserved your trust, tell me in the comments. Like this video if you believe the truth always finds its way to the surface, and subscribe for more stories about justice finally catching up to the people who thought they were untouchable.